Hey friends, welcome back to Wednesday's Top 5. In today's Top 5 is, the prompt is to talk about unlikely friends. So, this one was slightly hard for me, but I think I did well with it. The first one, I might have cheated slightly because they're sisters. So the Accidental Beauty Queen by Terry Wilson has Charlotte and Jeannie, who are twin sisters. Charlotte is a elementary school librarian, and she's like very book smart and very, you know, like she reads a lot. She's kind of nerdy, and I very much felt for Charlotte, like I could see myself in her. But Jeannie is her twin sister, who is like this Instagram famous model basically, and Charlotte is not with that. She's like, no, I don't really want to do that. But then Jeannie has a face reaction. Her, like, she has a rash, and she thinks that she's very self-conscious about it. She thinks that she's ugly now. So she has Charlotte go to the beauty pageant for her. And, you know, shenanigans happens. But the twin sisters are just, like, amazing. Then we have Annie and Cassie. It's not Cassie. Hold on. Then we have Annie and Chloe from Waiting for Tom Hanks and Not Like the Movies by Carrie Winfrey. Annie is very much rom-com obsessed. She believes in true love, and you know, she loves the grand gesture, and she thinks that everything should be just like the movies. But her best friend Chloe is not for it. She's more true crime obsessed, and she takes everything with a grain of salt, and she's kind of more sarcastic and less, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so lovey. So they're very much opposites as in terms of friends, but their friendship is so great because when Annie is feeling down in the dumps and really just not having a good time, Chloe is there for her. And when Chloe is being cynical and like, oh, true love doesn't exist, Annie's there to kind of push her forward and show her that maybe love has been in front of you the whole time. And it was just a really, really cute series, and I love their friendship. Like, their friendship was top notch. Then we have When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, and this is Sydney and Theo. So Sydney is a colored woman in this suburban area of New York, but all the white people are trying to push her out. And Theo, enter white, typical white male persona Theo, you know? He's very much the macho man, and he's like, oh, let me do everything, let me take care of you. And she's very much the independent woman, and she's like, no, I don't need you. Like, I don't need you. And then they kind of form this friendship, and maybe more than friendship later. But it was just really interesting to see, like, the opposites. How he's very macho, let me take care of you, get in your face, and she's very much like, I'm an independent woman. I can do what I want and I don't need no man. And it was interesting. It was funny. Then I have At First Spite by Olivia Dade. This was my first Olivia Dade book and I loved it. But in this, Athena and her fiance break up. Her fiance calls off the wedding and she ends up moving to the house that they had already bought. She had already quit her job and she was moving regardless. So Athena ends up moving into this middle house and her ex-boyfriend lives on one side and her ex-boyfriend's brother, Matthew, lives on the other side. So this is really the story about Matthew and Athena. And Matthew is part of the reason that her ex-boyfriend broke up with her. And part of the reason that she's depressed and in this really, really bad place mentally. Do not read this book lightly. It goes through some hard things. It'll make you bawl your eyes out and crush your heart a little bit. But I really loved Matthew and Athena together because at first I really, really hated the guy. Don't get me wrong, I hated Matthew. And I was just like, I don't think that they should be together. But he proved himself so hard for Athena. And I think that maybe he was in the wrong for trying to convince his brother to break up with her. But at the end of the day, he was kind of right. They didn't belong together because Matthew and Athena were perfect for each other. Like, he's very much the caring, sweet, like, I'm gonna lift you up even when you think you can't lift yourself up. And she, for a while, was kind of helpless and needed that she needed that strength that Matthew provided her. And then ultimately they were just really cute together and he helped lift her up and she just took really good care of him eventually, not right away. And then the last one, which I think is my favorite, like weird combination of friends, is from The Help by Catherine Stockett. So you follow Abilene Clark, who is right here, and Skeeter. So this is in the 1960s in Mississippi. So can you tell me why they would be an interesting duo just based on the cover? So for one thing, it's the 60s in the South and racism was very much prevalent. Well, Abilene, she's a colored maid, and Skeeter is a white girl. That's just the surface level, but Skeeter is very privileged. Abilene is not. And they're very much, I don't want to say rivals, but Abilene did not trust her because she's a white woman who's blonde, you know? And at the time, no one, colored people could not trust white folks. That's just how it was. And through a lot of trust exercises and a lot of Skeeter proving herself to Abilene, they form this unbeatable bond. And Skeeter is trying to become a journalist, and she's like, I want to write for the people, and I want to write a story about the maids. my camera keeps overheating, but let me finish this top 5 video. So this is The Help by Catherine Stockett. We were talking about Skeeter and Abilene and how they are complete opposites, because this is Mississippi in the 50s and Abilene is a woman of color who is also a maid. Skeeter is this wealthy white girl who just came back from college, and she really wants to make a difference in the world of writing. She wants to become a journalist and make a difference. So she teams up with Abilene to tell the maid stories about how they're treated, mainly by her mom, but also by all the wealthy white women. And it was just really, really good, because Abilene didn't really trust her at first, you know, rightfully so, and like Skeeter really had to prove herself to Abilene, and I guess vice versa. And it was just like this really incredible story of friendship, and it's such a beautiful friendship and a beautiful story. So that is all for Top 5 Wednesdays. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here.